Have you ever wondered what makes MrBeast's thumbnail so insanely clickable? Today, I'm recreating 3 of his thumbnails with my own face, showing you exactly how. So without any further ado, let's dive into the first thumbnail.
And the first thumbnail of the video is $10,000 for every day you survive in a wilderness video.
First thing, I got this flattering picture of myself. Let's jump into camera filters and mess with some sliders. The goal here is to make my skin tone more natural and make my features pop. So I'm tweaking the color tab, I'm bumping the clarity, texture and the haze sliders, basically turning this photo into something less tragic. Added some sharpening, a little color grading, and there we go. Next, I'll grab my pencil and start extracting myself from the background. I'll refine the hair with the refined brush tool. Bam, I'm cut out. Now let's position me somewhere here. Now I'll use an exposure adjustment layer to brighten up my eyes and teeth because nothing says a YouTube thumbnail like unnaturally glowing teeth. Then I'll add 2 gray layers, set them to overlay, and dodge and burn my face. And I'll decrease the fill to make it more subtle. Now I'm gonna position my head right here to match the original. Then I'll cut my arms and legs. Yeah, we're chopping me into pieces now, but it's all for a good cause. I tweak the colors of my hair to make it look less shitty. And adjust my shirt with vibrance adjustment layer to make it pure white. And don't forget to add those subtle highlights on my neck. For the stick, I found a random stick online. With a puppet warp tool, I bend it and put it in place so it looks like I'm holding it. For the red bandage, I grabbed the photo, warp it around the stick, and added some shadows and highlights. For the metal tip, I'm tracing it straight from the MrBeast thumbnail and adding some bevel and emboss to give it that nice metal look. For the background, I'm combining some stock photos and running them through AI because, why not? And after blending everything together, I'll add a bright light source and add some light rays to match the original thumbnail. I've got 2 images, and after some warping, refining, and erasing, I got a bear screaming at me like I owe it some money. Perfect. Back to me. Time for scars, torn clothes, and a little dirt because apparently I had a rough day. I'm using a skin texture overlays for the shirt holes and red brush for that dramatic blood stain. For the grass stains, I'm just painting on some green. Oh, and let's not forget about the bear. I'm adding some redness to its mouth, darkening its nose, and liquefying its face to make it more angry. Now it really looks like bro's yelling at me. Here's a cool hack. Slap a black and white adjustment layer on top of everything to check the brightness level. This helps you see if anything is blending into the background or not popping enough. Turns out my background was too bright, so I darkened it. Boom, problem solved. To wrap it up, I'll apply a camera filter to the whole thing, and here's the final product. Let me know in the comments below how I did, and let's move on to the next one.
And the second thumbnail is 7 days stranded on an island video.
So let's get into it. First, I use the Stable Diffusion to generate an image that's pretty close to original thumbnail. I'm really proud of how similar it looks, but it's missing a texture on the sand, so I grabbed a sand texture, added it, and bam! Now the sand is crispy and detailed. Now let's talk about the wooden raft. Holy sh! This part was a nightmare. I scoured the internet for a good image and spoiler alert, I found nothing useful. Jimmy probably has a budget to build a real raft, while I'm over here struggling. After combining a bunch of stock photos and hand drawing the red rope, which is gonna be green later, I ran the whole thing through Stable Diffusion for some extra details, and let me tell you, this process took forever. The raft alone felt like it could be its own video. I added some shiny highlights to the wood using exposure adjustment layers, threw in some shadows on the water, and adjusted the colors with the color balance. It's starting to look decent, but there's still work to do. Now, my favorite part, putting myself into the scene. I started with a few photos of myself, but they were trash, so I had to retake them. This time, I got a decent shot to work with. Like before, I cut out myself with a pencil, brightened up my eyes and teeth, and aligned my pose to match the MrBeast. Next, I turned my t-shirt black and added some torn details by drawing directly on a blank layer with my skin tone. To enhance the ripped look, I ran my photo through a Stable Diffusion and combined the generated results with the original using masks. Then came the hair and why do I keep spending time on my hair when I know I'm gonna be replacing them anyways? I found a better hair online, slapped it on my head, and honestly, it looks so good, I'm starting considering getting a haircut. To give myself a signature cartoony look, I added dodge and burn effects. This really brought the details in my face. Now onto the elephant in the room, the help text on the sand. This part almost broke me. I traced some text on the sand texture, drew extra details, and ran it through Stable Diffusion. Then refined it, ran it again, and again, and again, and again. And after about 7 rounds of tweaking, I still wasn't 100% happy with, but I guess it's good enough. Let's be real, MrBeast probably used Blender or took an actual photo of the sand, but I'm working with all I got, okay? With the background mostly done, I refined the palm trees, added some mist for the depth, and enhanced the clouds with a bit of contrast. Then I circled back to the raft and made the ropes green just like the original. For scars and bruises on my face and shoulders, I just used my texture brush on a blank layer and added some layer styles, and voila! Instant battle wounds. I also made my t-shirt look wet by hand drawing highlights and adding contrast. This was tricky, but I think I nailed it. Finally, I added a rain overlay to the entire scene, adjusted the color of the bush, and slapped a camera filter to tie everything together. I used the Obelix? Anyways, I used the Obelix Pro font for the text, matched its position with the original thumbnail, and there you have it, our second thumbnail is complete. Honestly, this one tested my patience. But let's be real, having a killer thumbnail makes the world of difference on YouTube. It's literally the first thing people see. And if you're a creator trying to grow your channel and you need thumbnails that grab attention, send me an email or DM me and we can make it happen. So let's move on to the next one.
And the last but not least thumbnail of today is 7 days stranded in the cave.
I've got a picture of myself looking quirky. But no worries, I'm here to turn this masterpiece into something epic. Along with this, I've also taken some photos of my hands and stock up some cave photos plus some AI generated ones. So let's dive in and start building this thumbnail piece by piece. First up, I'm grabbing a cave photo and chopping the top part with a pencil. As I'll be right here on the top of my canvas. Nice. For the ground, I'll use this photo and blend those together. Then from this photo, I'm taking another section for the sides. Boom, instant cave walls. Now here's the fun part. I'm grabbing an AI generated cave photo and using the darker parts to deepen the background. A bit of color matching and blending later, and our cave is officially in business. Shadows are the secret sauce. Using the exposure adjustment layer, I'm darkening the areas like the sides of the cave where the light will naturally hit. This makes the space look more 3D and immersive. Remember, shadows are everything. Now it's time for some AI magic. I generated an image of this fella and started breaking it apart. First, I'll take his arms, but don't worry, it's all consensual. Then using the warp tool, I'll reshape these bad boys to match the MrBeast pose. The face is next, sketching a quick hood and adding a part of a neck to complete the look. After running it through Stable Diffusion again for some details, I wasn't totally happy with the first result, so I had to redo some parts, and much better this time. Back in Photoshop, I positioned the AI generated pieces underneath the hands and start blending the textures together. This creates a cohesive look, kind of like Frankensteining it all together. Time for a little glow up. I'll use a camera raw filter to enhance the details on my face, giving it a nice contrast and a solid skin tone. Then with a pencil, I cut out my face and refine the hair a little bit. Spoiler alert, I'm changing the hair later, so this is kind of pointless, but hey, we are learning together. I brighten my teeth and eyes because duh, and I'll give some redness to the mouth. For final polish, I'll add dodge and burn layers. Next, I sketch an outline for the red costume, adding highlights and shadows to make it pop, and a quick white t-shirt underneath to complete the outfit. Then I go all in with the shadow work, darkening the arms, ground, and even ceiling of the cave. For the headlamp, I'll grab the stock photo and slap it on top of my hair. To make it shine, literally, I'll add a lens flare, crank up the brightness, and draw some shadows on my forehead and strap. Also, I will layer another lens flare on top to give it more definition, I guess. And after one final run through Stable Diffusion to enhance the costume details, I tweak the colors, adjust the lighting, and slap a camera filter on top of everything. And here it is! The third and final thumbnail is done. This one was a beast to recreate, but I think it turned out awesome. Let me know in the comments below which is your favorite, and hey, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for more Photoshop content, and I'll see you in the next one.